All right, good morning, y'all. We're live on the Falcons Podcast on YouTube. Let's bring in our Facebook group. It's Atlanta Falcons on SI, and we'll go to X. That's Scout Kennedy, where I've been having some frustrating conversations lately, and I don't know why I bother. Maybe I'm trying to be more like Nick. I don't know. Here we go. Welcome in, y'all. This is the Falcons Podcast. It is the Wednesday before free agency, the Wednesday after the NFL Combine, so we're going to hit on a little bit of both. It's about time to do I waited for Nick to really do a post-combine mock draft, and we can start talking a little bit of free agency before we start getting some news on Monday. Keep those notifications on, because if something breaks big on Sunday, when the tampering, the contact period is what I call it. And I've seen people have moved away. I haven't seen that legal tampering term as much because it's just a stupid term. It's contact period for free agency. It opens on Sunday afternoon, I believe.
I think,
and so keep those notifications on. If something big happens, we'll talk about it. We'll go live. But want to say hello to Nick. Nick, how are you doing? Good to see you on a Wednesday, as AJ says. Thought it was Monday. No, Nick's here. That means it's Wednesday. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing okay. I've been working like freaking crazy the last 6 weeks. I've worked since the Super Bowl. I've worked at least 4 hours every day. And the only reason I didn't work that day is because I got food poisoning. So that was we've been working real hard, but still banking some comp time and looking forward to summer. That's for sure. But it's a fun time of year. I'm excited to see what comes a week from now and what we can talk about as things are officially opened and moves start to happen. But we do have those preemptive moves happening right now, which is, it's kind of made free agency somewhat disheartening for me, because you see the list and it's like, ooh, shiny toys. And then you look at the 15 of the top 25 names and they're off the board by the time free agency actually opens. But then you get another, 10 or 15 that are added because of roster cuts and just salary dumps.
Right.
So again, free agency, everybody's like, oh, Nick, have you looked at the free agency list? What are you thinking? I was like, honestly, I perused it. I don't think half the guys I want are going to be even sniff the market. So I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about how they fit in and everything. I'm full on drafting your own guys.
I'll look at it on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
If they're still free agents on Sunday morning, they're going to be free agents. And then they'll only be free agents for a few minutes, the top guys, because they'll announce their deals Sunday afternoon. And then they can sign them, 48 hours later, Tuesday maybe, on the 11th. So does that sound right? I feel like March 9th is the day, which is Monday this year, not Sunday.
I think it's Monday. I think it's Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it is, because before it was Sunday afternoon it opened up. And
I'm not sure. I
feel
like it's been Monday,
strange, but I'm like, wait a minute, the reason I know my wife's birthday is Saturday and it's the 7th. And I'm like, I've got the 9th and 11th in my head as the key days. And then the 13th is the other key day that Kirk Cousins has to be cut by then, but they've already said that they're going to cut him before that. So he is a free agent when free agency opens. So another team doesn't have to lose a draft pick for talking to him. That's just the Falcons way. But we go live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now, because we like having the conversation with y'all. And I want to say hello to everybody. We're going to start with Denver Luke, who's coming in with a super chat. Appreciate you, Denver Luke. He says, good morning, Scott and Nick. Happy Draft Wednesday. Yes, it is. And thank you for the super chat. He's got the coffee emoji. I've got my Lion coffee. I'll drink to that. I've got that 10% Kona, Nick. It's the best coffee I've ever had. It's so good.
Shout out to Patrick. Patrick, he sent me a picture. I'm like, those look good. Cold brew. They have now little cans of cold brew as well.
I want to try that. Just, I use a French press. So I'm like, I've been kind of nervous to try it. I'm like, I'm going to try that this summer and try a cold brew.
I know a lot of people that have like acid reflux or issues. It's less acidic. So it's much easier on the digestive.
And that's why tract. I don't drink coffee in the afternoons. I'll drink it in the mornings, but not in the afternoons. So
maybe cold press it for you.
I'll give it a shot. So Michael Ronquillo is in here nice and early. He says, good morning, Scott and Nick on the Falcons podcast. He's out in Arizona, so he's up early with us. Dave is here, so our Broncos are checking in. This is just here for the Nick and Scott banter. Still hoping for Algier to Denver. So was perusing through, there's been some, we're not all going to agree. Putting the list together is the form of disagreeing. That's what we do. Nick and I could come up with a list of 10 anything, and it wouldn't be in the same order. So when I looked at NFL Network's top 100 list and Malik Willis is the number one free agent, I just kind of shook my head. ESPN, I just went and kind of looked through their list just to see where the Falcons were. And actually, I wanted to see where Malik Willis was, and I got to 8 before I quit looking. So he's a little bit farther down the list. But I was pretty surprised to see that Tyler Algier was not among their top 100 free agents. One, I bet you he's one of the top 100 guys paid. Two, I bet he's one of the top 15 guys paid at his position when this thing's all said and done. So I feel like that one's a miss with Algier. I don't know if they just go right down who ran for the most yards last year. I don't get it. And that's with Breece Hall and Javonte coming off the board.
Yeah, that's probably just an oversight. And you mentioned Javonte too. I think that's probably the floor we're looking at here for the market of Tyler Algier. Hasn't had the injuries, but Javonte is a little bit more of a proven or coming off a proven season, if you will. So I think 3-year, $24 million is probably the ballpark for Algier right now. But I also think, I mean, with the way teams are kind of seem to be clamoring for running backs and some of the money that's being thrown around for like Kenneth Walker and ETN right now, I mean, you might be talking 330 for him when it's all said and done. And again, it's running back. The structure matters a lot. Like 330 could really just be 220 with that last year.
Right. It's the guaranteed.
Yeah. So it's never actually what the sticker price is, if you will. But yeah, he's going to have a market. And I know that he's been linked to the Seahawks. He's been linked to the Broncos. I think there's another team he's been linked to as well. But yeah, there's Chiefs maybe. I feel like Chiefs have been more Kenneth Walker, ETN. But yeah, it'll be interesting to follow. And I think a lot of this running back stuff is because despite, the combine, everybody's the best ever coming immediately out of the combine, right? The tape doesn't matter as much anymore, which it's fun. I mean, it's entertainment. A lot of it is. They're crossing thresholds. You don't want to grade guys twice. The medicals and the interviews are probably just as, if not more important. But coming out of the combine, the way teams are acting about the running back free agency market makes me say that they do not value this running back crop in the draft.
Yeah, there's a couple guys I like. I mentioned some of the good morning, AJ. Some of the outliers for me on the combine. One of them we talked about during instant messages was Markel Bell and his 9-inch hands. He's 6'9", 6'8" and a quarter. I can't remember if it was 6'8" and a quarter or 6'9" and a quarter.
He's monster.
346 pounds. Nick, I measured mine after that. I've got 9.5-inch hands. His are 9. I'm 6'1". All right. One of the other ones that struck me, Mike Washington, the running back, his numbers were phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
4.33, 40-something inch vertical leap, 223 pounds. I mean, phenomenal. 82-inch wingspan. I mean, good Lord, he's stiff-arming guys at linebacker. He's like, tap the guy on the head, I'm going to run right by you before the snap even goes. 82-inch wingspan. So, again, just weird perspective from me. I'm 6'1", 9.5-inch hands. And I can palm a basketball, Nick, so I have bigger hands, but not that.
You're not 6'9".
Not guys that are 6'9".
Yeah.
And then my arm length is normal. It's exactly my height. It's 73 inches.
I'm a little different. I have like a 6'4" wingspan.
But this guy's it's 6'10".
Yeah. Crazy.
82 inches is crazy. So good stuff on there. Sam's near and dear to our heart. He says, morning, Scott, Nick, how many quarterbacks do you think will be linked to today? All of them. I finally posted something on X and I brought out some of the, defensive people. Because I basically said Falcons fans think that they're in the market for a prime Peyton Manning out there, because every time we post a story about this guy said this about this quarterback, people lose their minds. Why would they get him? That's terrible. Another broken down quarterback, bust, old, unproven. Yes, they are. That's the market you're in right now. And there's a lot of like, what Falcons fans are you talking to? I'm like, well, all the ones that are in my comments, those are the ones I'm talking to right now. And, we try and be realistic on this show. And I think we've got a really good community that, we've under that it's a good community period, but then understands the fact the Falcons aren't in the market to spend for a quarterback. One, there's not one available. Two, they don't have the money or the draft picks. So it's like there is no the question I've been asking all along, Nick, is who and how and there's no good answers. So the Falcons will get a veteran quarterback that nobody likes.
Some people will like it's just that
But like the majority will say,
Yeah.
"What are they getting Joe Flacco for? He's 100 years old." Because you need a veteran quarterback. That's why. You need one. Well, why don't you go get this guy? And whoever you mentioned, everybody else is going to hate. Why don't you get Kyler Murray? He's got some upside. He's broken down, slow, bust. Tua Tagovailoa. You can't see straight. He's cross-eyed, and he's terrible. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, you'd have to trade for. All these guys have failed somewhere at some point, or they haven't played at all. Tyson Bagent, he's got 3 starts in 6 years. 3 years. He's thrown 6 passes in 2 seasons.
His father, though, is a world champion arm wrestler. So you got that coming. If you trade for Tyson Bagent, that matters for something.
Who's the guy? I can't remember his name. Speaking of hands, he comes up on my Instagram feeds every so often. He was messing with Brock Lesnar. Not Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. He comes up all the time. I can't remember his name. Someone in the he's just world famous, and he's the one that just kind of always looks at you and smiles, and then puts the guys down that are twice his size. And then you look at him; he's got like 13-inch hands. He just wraps these guys in half.
Wrestler?
He's an arm wrestler.
Arm wrestler.
Arm wrestler. I can't remember his name. I want to say like Dane, but that's not it. Somebody here. I'll scroll to the bottom. Somebody will know who I'm talking about. But yeah, they're linked to all of them, Sam. And I still feel like it's probably going to be Joe Flacco. And then let's draft a guy. Let's, day 3, draft a guy. Do you want Easton Stick back? So your quarterback room could end up being Joe Flacco, Michael Penix, and Easton Stick. I just assume it be Michael Penix, Joe Flacco, and Cole Payton. I think Cole Payton may end up going 3rd round, maybe 4th round. He's coming up some.
I mean, you don't see the mid-round quarterbacks that often. A lot of times it's first round and then they wait until the 4th round, but it's changed a bit. 2 guys that I mentioned, Scott, and that were my. I mean, again, I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth and be like, the combine doesn't really matter compared to the tape. And then I'll say, these 2 guys, interesting to the combine. But Drew Aller, I mean, just like you see why he's prototype. Is he going to be a starting NFL quarterback? I would not bet on it. 4th round pick? Maybe. And then also, didn't Taylor Green have like one of the best combines ever?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, if you get Taylor Green or Cole Payton, because Cole Payton put up monster numbers too.
Pretty good too. Yeah.
I'm like, there's your Taysom Hill. I mean, he had a Taysom Hill profile. He's only played 1 year at North Dakota State as a starter. Then he came in at like 230 pounds, 4.5s, 40-inch vertical, 10-10 shuttle. I mean, he's got prototypical H-back numbers. And then Tylen, if you put Tylen in as Taylor, apologies. If you put Taylor in the wide receivers, he would have been the most athletic. If you're doing a RAS score, he would have been number 1 among the wide receivers. So it's like, I can get those guys late and I can still use them somehow. Yeah. I can find a way to use them because they're so athletic that it's not just a wasted spot where just a QB3 and hold the clipboard and drink your Gatorade and smile and wave at the fans. No, these guys could actually contribute because they are so athletic.
Yeah, and also, I mean, some crazy number of teams have had to play backup quarterbacks for meaningful snaps every year. And Taylor maybe does end up playing tight end. I don't know. It's just like if I'm the long shot at the quarterback down there anyways, I will take the toolsy guy. But I can't quit Aller just because the deep ball is so good. I don't know if he's got the when the bullets are flying. Did you ever play Madden back in the day when they had the vision cone? Like when you had to move the vision cone? His would be probably pretty small when he plays, but the arm talent, the prototype size, decent athlete. Or also you have the one when you're like NCAA football, you're playing on the road and the route, you zoom out and see the routes and they're shaking like crazy. And it's like, I'm shook. That's a little bit of Drew Aller sometimes. But again, the arm talent is obvious. I mean, he threw the ball better than anybody I thought at the combine. Does that mean he's going to be a good quarterback? No, but day 3 shot. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I don't even watch them throw. I don't.
Okay.
It just doesn't mean anything as far as, they're not even throwing against coverages, for goodness sakes.
I would say sometimes it matters though. Like for the it's not like the top guys.
No, but what I mean,
guys who like doesn't have the arm. Like,
what I
oh,
mean though is you're not going to learn anything there. If I've been in on these guys,
yeah,
I've already seen them.
You know it based on the tape.
Yeah. I've already seen them. What they can do now. How do they move the ball in 11v11? I can learn something about these guys to a certain extent at the Senior Bowl. Not enough, but at least more, because they're playing 11v11, because you don't know for sure until the whistle blows for real and these guys are going to get hit.
I always think of Rex Grossman, who was like one of the best practice quarterbacks. Everybody say, "Oh man, beautiful," and then the lights go on and he's, diddling down his leg a little bit. But it's always interesting to see those guys out there throwing. I will say that, it depends on the quarterback and the system, Scott, but like if you're playing air raid and you catch it and turn to your left and throw it horizontally across the line 50 times a game, and you go through a pro day workout or like a team workout, you might be able to gather a little bit more information, because how many actual timing deep throws outside the numbers are you actually going to see in the offense? But again, the tape is still king at the end of the day. So yeah, it was a very fun combine. The really talented athletic wide receivers. There's going to be a wide receiver taken. I think there's a chance there's a wide receiver taken day 2 of this class, round 4, that ends up being the best in the entire group. Because I think it's deep enough. And I think it's raw enough. And I think linebacker and safety is unbelievable in this class, Scott. And honestly, coming out of the combine and just, going back on some of the tape, it could be the best positional group in the draft. One more thing, just kind of a big combine takeaway and just what I've been hearing. I know we did it on our last mock draft we did, Scott, but we took Max Iheanacho. Everybody's saying there's going to be 8 offensive linemen taken in the top 28 picks. Mac, we took him then because I knew it was unrealistic, right. And I wanted to just say, if there's one there that's a tackle, you probably got to swing. It sounds like, just because it's such a scarce position and teams really know the threshold cutoffs of what the body type and the athleticism is, I don't think those guys are going to make it out of the first round this year. So we're keeping an eye on Max Iheanacho, Blake Miller maybe as well, somebody that's a big athlete. But I don't think there's a chance they make it to the Falcons. You're talking cornerback, defensive line, wide receiver, I think are in play.
Jerome, good morning, Jerome. Talking about the Clemson running back can be an Algier replacement. He's a Cordero Patterson replacement. He's because he was a former wide receiver. Yeah, you got that in here. Former wide receiver. Adam Randall. He was Clemson's offensive MVP this year, and it wasn't really close. They weren't. That's kind of damning with faint praise. They had a disappointing season, but he just worked and worked and worked, and they found a role for him. He's really, really good. He's huge. He's big, obviously can catch, good in the open field, good speed. We've taken him in our mocks on here before. The Falcons need a running back. Mm-hmm. I got no problem. I'd be pretty damn happy with Adam Randall on a rookie deal for sure. Chris Walker, good morning, one of our OGs. He says, I don't know how much it would cost to sign him, but there's a linebacker with the Raiders at 174 tackles this past season. Oh, that's our old friend Devin White, who is used to play the Falcons twice a season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm not sure why he was gone, but he's been gone for 2 seasons. He played in Houston in 2024, and then he played, and he was only healthy for 1 game. And then he played all 17 games with the Raiders last year. He had 174 tackles, 95 solo, 11 tackles for loss, and 3 forced fumbles, and had a couple pass defense. One forced fumble, 3 passes defensed. Yeah, I don't know what he would cost, but you can get linebackers. You can get value at linebacker. $7 million is a lot of money for an inside linebacker, and the Falcons had 2 of them last year, in Caden Ellis and Divine Diablo. So I think Caden Ellis is gone too. If he's let it go this far, I think he's going to be gone. And I think he's underrated also, Nick. I think he was 69 on the list of ESPN's top 100 free agents. And that's part of playing for a team that loses, is your Q rating goes down. But when it comes to the guys writing checks, they know better. And Tyler Algier and Caden Ellis are going to get paid. they're gonna make some money, especially at non-premium positions. They're gonna get some premium money.
Well, non-premium positions are pretty much the only ones that hit the open market. Teams will lock up those other
Good
guys.
point.
So where a team's going to spend their money, it's the interior offensive line, safety, linebacker, maybe some run stuffing, defensive tackles. Defensive tackle is weird because like it is a value position, but really only as much as you can also rush the passer at the same time. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. I haven't heard too much, Scott, of where the Falcons are exactly sniffing around exactly. Other than I feel like they would like Caden Ellis back. We'll see what the market is, but I do think because you're bringing Brad back, Ulbrich, and he's had success there. From what I've heard, at least there is mutual interest, but we'll see. Somebody in the chat can tell me if there's anything different there, because I've been keeping my ear to the ground on the Caden Ellis market because I think he's really talented and would be good.
Yeah, I just think when they've waited this long and played on their non-guaranteed money, they've earned the right to be free agents, and I think he's going to get an offer that he wants to get to be somewhere else. And he's earned it. He came here, he played 3 years, he played really well. Thank you. Good luck. And again, I don't want to end up spending this team is so unbalanced. They poured so many resources into the non-premium positions. Their highest paid player on offense is a guard. Their highest paid player on defense is a safety. They use their highest pick of the last how many years? I don't even know the last time they picked higher than 4. Maybe 3. Maybe it was Matt Ryan. Their highest pick in 20 years on a tight end. They use a number 8 overall on a running back. I'm not saying all those were wrong, but they've built this team. Fontenot kind of built this team kind of backwards. Now he started getting back into it with 2023 was Drake London, 2024 was quarterback. That's wide receiver quarterback, defensive tackles, edge rushers. But it's almost like, okay, you spent too long building your team the wrong way, and now you're fired.
There's only so many avenues. It's an opportunity cost every time you don't go with a premium position at those spots. And you can find premium positions later in the draft. You don't really find them as much in free agency. Maybe once every 3 years, you'll get a Daniel Hunter, and boy, you better open up the checkbook to make sure that happens. But really, every time you go for a non-premium position, it's kind of like betting on outliers over and over again. It's like, as soon you're going to have a team.
You can't build the team on the exception of the rule. Can't do it.
Yeah. Nope. There are certain trends and just guidelines. At the end of the day, you want to take the best player available, but it's baked into your positional needs, culture, and of course, positional value and just the economics of where you can find these guys.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to get the best player, someone behind you. I'll take the field, as you like to say.
Yep. It's always a process, though. Process driven.
I know.
At the end of the day.
Yep. You're looking at your board. We're only $9 million under the cap. Not a lot of money. No, and it's actually worse than that right now because Kirk Cousins' money hasn't hit yet. So he will take. I still think, Nick, I think he's got a chance, a pretty good chance to make some money this year. So, Michael Lewitzki commented earlier, if the Falcons commit to Kyler Murray, the Michael Penix era is over. Nobody's going to commit to Kyler Murray this year because all of that money just goes back to Arizona. So Kyler Murray is going to play on the minimum just like Russell Wilson did. So he's going to be basically free. Then he's going to get his next contract. The sun is catching you, Nick, on the right over your head. You're going to have to sit up straight.
Definitely.
That's worse.
Yep.
You're going to have to sit up straight or close the blinds or something. But where was I going with this? Oh, Kyler's going to be free. They wouldn't have to commit to him until next season. So you'd find out. So Kyler Murray, why Kyler Murray? He's terrible. He's injured. He's young. He's short. He's a bust. He's free. He's free. That's why he's got some talent to him. He's got some upside to him. Of all the available quarterbacks, I'm actually intrigued by Kyler Murray, what he could do here if he ends up playing. Ideally, the ideal factor, and I'll say this every show, is Michael Penix becomes the guy they drafted him to be. That's ideal. In lieu of that, I wouldn't mind having a guy with a little bit of upside. Maybe you can rehab a Kyler Murray. I don't know if he'll ever be that guy. He's just too short, and he's not going to get faster. When his legs are such a factor for him. Joe Flacco is absolutely a stopgap, and then you're all in on quarterback in 2027 if that's the way you go, if Michael Penix doesn't become that guy. But They can clear up some money, Mike. They can. They'll be able to address linebacker, wide receiver, corner, and defensive tackle with some quality players, not just cast-offs from other teams' practice squads.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely will. And I mean, the Kyler Murray question, Scott, for me, you have to ask yourself every offseason 2 questions, I feel like. Do we have our known quantity franchise quarterback? And if no, is there an avenue for us to go get that guy?
Yeah.
And I think not this year too, but they're going to have to ask those questions still all the same. And if you had, if you were sitting number 1 in this class, then yes, it makes sense. But Kyler Murray has shown enough to me that at least you ponder it, but it comes down to, well, if he has any interest in joining, which I don't think he does, and also what you think of Penix. But like, if you were set on moving on from Penix and you needed more of a closer to a sure thing, probably your best avenue would be Kyler Murray. I just don't think it's really, again, we talk about it a lot. This team doesn't have to go all in this season. It can be kind of Matt Ryan still figuring it out. You got new leadership across the board, your 3-pillar front office coaching staff position. So again, I think it's something that you still ask the question and be like, okay, what would that look like? Probably kicking the can for a year, like you mentioned. Maybe you bring in true competition like a Tyler, Zach Wilson, or I don't know about Trey Lance. I liked him coming out, but he just doesn't have the accuracy. It's really erratic. But or you bring in the veteran to help install, doesn't necessarily need all the reps. You don't have to teach him the offense, so you can teach the guys around him and get Penix up to speed. So multiple viable options. But again, I do think that every offseason you have to ask yourself, do we know we have our franchise guy? If no, is there a path available for us to land that guy?
Right. And for me right now, you don't know. The answer is no, we don't know, but we still have a chance. Mm-hmm. And the answer to the second question makes the first one your answer, because the answer to the question is no, we don't have a path to getting a franchise quarterback because no first round draft pick and not enough money. And there's not one available in free agency anyway, unless you think, and I do not think that Malik Willis is worth 4 years, $120 million. I think that's asinine. Mm-hmm. I think that's absolutely asinine.
I'm more interested in Kyler Murray than Malik Willis.
I'm going to see how it pans out. He should be in the neighborhood. Of 3 for 45 with 30 guaranteed. That's where he should be, and he's probably going to double that.
What's the Baker Mayfield contract? Baker Mayfield more proven, but he didn't hit the open market officially with the change in the secondary quarterback contract market. So if I was a team like the Baker Mayfield contract where I can get out of it after 2 years, really even 1 year, I mean, teams aren't as afraid of eating dead cap anymore. But that's what I'd be looking for personally. What is Baker getting? $24 million a year? So you're talking 370. That's a lot, but still it's damned if you do, damned if you don't at the quarterback spot, Scott. Sometimes you got to make that gamble because we're here for the long haul, but the decision makers, coaching staff, they have to take sometimes some aggressive swings at a position like that, even if they're not comfortable doing so.
Troy says, is Diablo coming back? Yes, he is. He signed a 2-year deal. It's basically a one year deal, 1 year of guaranteed money with a 1-year option for the Falcons. So he's playing on non-guaranteed money right now. Would not totally surprise me to see them extend him, lower his cap number, put another year of guaranteed money on it, which is good for everybody. And then you've got another option in 2027. We're getting like nosebleed sections. We're climbing up so high in years. I'm like, it can't really be 2027, can it? It just can't be. That's insanity to me. You were born in the 1900s? Yeah, the late 1900s. So Dr. Slick says, I'll take Murray for cheap, much better option than Tua. I'd rather have Murray too. They're both going to be free, basically. I'd rather have Kyler Murray than Tua as my veteran quarterback. And that's how I try and place it is, who is your veteran quarterback going to be? Everybody can complain about it because the guy's going to have warts all over him. Whoever they get is going to have big red flags and big, easy ways to tear them down. They're veteran quarterbacks who are available. Of course, they're going to have warts. I mean, come on. But you got to have one. You're going to have to get a quarterback. So how much do you want to spend? Do you want to overspend in money? I'd rather overspend a little bit in money in 2026, and I don't think you're going to have to, than draft picks for guys that I don't necessarily know that much about. If you said Mac Jones for your 48, what would you say?
It depends on what you think of Michael Penix. Like, if this regime is out on Michael Penix, I think that's a viable path forward. Because again, do you think of Mac Jones higher? And at the end of the day, you have to solve quarterback. Otherwise, everybody's fired. You can have a great roster. If you don't have serviceable plus, top 12, 14 quarterback play, you're going to be gone in 2-3 years. So I wouldn't do it because I still have hope for Penix, but that's as much a Penix question as it is anything else for me.
Dog says, y'all forget they put a study clause in his contract for a reason. Again, I can tear all of them down. Every single quarterback we mentioned that's a veteran that is on the radar, that is available, I can tear them all down. There is no flawless, no argument against available quarterback out there. Okay? So not Kyler then. Okay, not Kyler. Let's move on to Tua. No, not Tua. He's got scrambled eggs for brains, and he's not any good anyway. Flacco. Some of the other guys aren't available yet. Geno Smith. I got Geno Smith and Jacoby Brissett mixed up in the first half of the show last week. Geno's not available, might not be available. I would have Geno in a heartbeat. I'd take Jacoby. Jacoby's not any good. He's not going to win any games. We know he's a veteran backup. That's his role, a spot starter. I know. That's what we're talking about here. So there are no good options, y'all. It's risk reward. Kyler Murray on $1.4 million is a pretty good risk reward scenario here on that one. So that's what I think about him. And I'm not giving Kyler a big deal. No, he's not. He's not going to get a big deal in 2026. He's already got one. He's being paid by the Cardinals. It's the same thing that happened with Russell Wilson. I do think what I was saying was I think Kirk Cousins can break the $10 million mark, and the Falcons will get a rebate on him. They'll get it. I mean, I don't see him signing for 1.2 veteran minimum and then trying to get a new deal in 2027. I think he could be in the $20 million range, which would kick $10 million back to the Falcons, which would make his total compensation 2 years, $90 million, and the Falcons get an extra $10 million in salary cap room. I think that is possible, Nick.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. A lot of quarterback talk, though. I think it's fun hypothetically, but really this team, they need to find some cost-controlled players at positions of value. And because of the Kyler Murray thing, I think he has a little bit more, what do they say, carte blanche? Is that the correct term, Scott, where he's going to be able to select the direction he goes? And I don't know. I think there's probably going to be another opportunity out there. It sounds like, as soon as he was released, the alarms are going off in Minnesota. With the Vikings. So that's the one that's, to me, I would probably be looking for.
Yeah, and that's who just said that in here. It was Mike. A lot of insiders are saying Minnesota or Atlanta with Kyler Murray. And Atlanta's going to be linked to every quarterback. Everyone they're going to be linked to. So we know that one. So let's see here on this. GATX says, what if he comes here and balls out? That would be a good problem to have, wouldn't it? But, again, my hope is that whoever comes in, why would you take, Trey's? Why are people even talking about Flacco? Because you want him to be the veteran presence that can help steady the room. That's why.
You need a quarterback that can come in and play reps, because your quarterback that you have right now, you're losing Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, Lord only freaking knows with his injuries. So it's a stability factor. It's short term. It's how do we function offensively in practice,
the team
in the room. Yeah. How do we actually go out there and if you go out there and play you and I at quarterback, Scott, it's going to be really freaking hard for everybody around them to get better. The whole operation will sink. So there has to be some level of quality obtained, just so people can do their jobs around them.
That includes practices.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't run a practice. You ever been to a practice where the quarterbacks can't throw? I have all the time. All-star games where you go and the quarterback play is bad. The receivers don't get any work. The defensive backs don't get any work. It's a bunch of, okay, I'm going to run my route and watch the ball go over here. So Larry says, I think Flacco is the better choice possible. That's where my money is. If I was setting the lines, who is going to be the veteran quarterback for this Atlanta Falcons team in 2026? It's Joe Flacco. Mm-hmm. And I hope he never has to take a snap. I hope it's Michael Penix for 17 games. Yeah. That's what you're hoping of, but he's your contingency, emergency veteran in the locker room voice. It's not good. I know. I know it's not good. We know.
Went to a bar and you're driving through town and you stop somewhere at a bar and you're looking to not be lonely that night. The options aren't good right now. The bar, it's a little late. You got to go home though.
A less graphic version of this is they say beggars can't be choosers. Well, you know who are beggars right now in the quarterback market? The Falcons.
Everybody that doesn't have one.
Exactly. It's a terrible year to need a quarterback. Yeah. It's a terrible year to need a quarterback.
Yep. And Trey also comes in and he says jaded because of Cousins played the last 2 seasons. The ironic part is that if Cousins is on another team and being released and you could sign him for 2-year, $18 million, maybe less for Joe Flacco. I don't know. Like you'd be like, oh, that makes all the sense in the world. But because he's been here, it doesn't make any sense.
Of all of these people out here, Kirk Cousins might be the best option for a veteran quarterback, honestly. Yeah. I mean, you're talking Aaron Rodgers, and it would just be the Steelers really for him, so you're not in there. Joe Flacco, I'd rather have Kirk Cousins than Joe Flacco. I would.
Yeah.
But he's and that said, Flacco didn't play that badly last year. He put up decent numbers in some pretty bad situations.
That was it the Bengals Ravens?
Kirk wasn't bad. And the whole idea of he hit his injuries, that's such nonsense.
Yeah.
Every player on earth masks their injuries. That he was still playing is on the coaching staff. Not you expect. They are expected to play through pain and to keep their mouth shut and do it. They are expected to. But yeah, I don't necessarily want him back. I'm gone. As Uncle Buck says, he can kick rocks. Yeah, I don't want him back. I'm glad he's not coming back. It was a bad 2 years, totally mishandled by an Atlanta Falcons brass that has since been fired.
Yeah.
Since the minute they signed him, he was mishandled. And that makes for a bad situation for everybody involved. I don't want Kirk Cousins back at all. Let's take that chapter and go. We're done with it. We are done with it. Bankhead Butcher said, I can't watch old man Flacco get abused snap after snap. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, there aren't great options at veteran quarterback. There's different variations of, do I want a low ceiling, more sure thing, or do I want a little bit of upside? Do I want the injury risk? Do I want the unknown? A lot of people will bet on the unknown because, like you said, the mystery box. This guy hasn't played in 3 years, or he was terrible for 4 years and then had a nice 3 games last year. Let's get that guy. He looked amazing. Well, hell, that's Michael Penix. Michael Penix looked pretty damn good for his 3-game cameo as a rookie. So what do you think, though, Nick? You about ready to hit a mock draft on this?
Yeah, let's do it. Again, we're looking premium positions, defensive line, cornerback, obviously there, and wide receiver. Offensive line always in play, of course, as well. You know how I am. That's one position where you just have to have a baseline ability. Otherwise, I feel like your season is done. And after what Stefanski went through the last few seasons in the Browns, I could see them saying, no way in hell we're allowing it to get like that again. When you saw Sean Payton come to Denver, what's the first thing they did? They signed 2 offensive linemen immediately and raised the floor of the room. I think the offensive line baseline is probably number 1 for any team bringing in a new quarterback. And you don't want to be, if you're looking in the quarterback market next year, that probably means you're not in the offensive tackle market next year also. So want to keep an eye on it.
Is the Falcons medical staff a liability, and do we need to assemble a new one? They don't seem to have changed anything in the medical or performance staff so far. So we'll see why we had so many weird problems with injuries. Just I mean, injuries happen. Okay, that's one thing. Torn ACL, yeah, you're gone for a year. We get it. But we had a lot of guys in Atlanta. Oh yeah, they're day to day. Oh, they're out for the year. They're working their way back. Oh no, they're IR'd now. They're out for the year. I'm like, that's just weird on that. So let's hit to. I'm gonna see if I can go on this one. Maybe I can zoom in one more spot. We'll go Falcons. We'll go 7 rounds. We will go fast. And from the player list, can I close that? Yes, thank you. I'd like to be able to see what I'm doing here. From the player list, let's go with a consensus on here on this one. And Tim Carter says, "What? Falcons? Penix was and is a bust." LOL.
He might be.
Yeah, maybe. You can't be a bust before you actually play. So was a bust is something. Saying is a bust. Still got a chance. It's not over. I'm not overly hopeful because of the injury history. And frankly, he wasn't that great last year, but it's not over. And he'll get a chance.
Had the number one overall pick in this class, Scott, it would be a non-conversation. Yeah. Walk on down, Mendoza. Thank you, Penix. We'll flip you for a 4th, and we'll see you on the other side. So it's just, the avenues available.
Michael Lewitsky asked about, who did he ask about? Now that I'm forgetting. Oh, Avion Terrell. That was with the Avion's going to be gone. He's one of the few guys whose stock was not crushed at Clemson this year. Enter solo draft, and I think we can do trades on this one. So, good Lord, they cover half this freaking screen. That's a 27-inch monitor I'm using here.
Is there an X on it that you can click it out of? I don't see it.
See it yet. Hey, the Falcons want to trade. They want to offer 62 and 94. What do you can I throw in a 169 on that too?
Man, I would never offer that as Denver, but
I know. I'll move down 14 spots to get 94, and let's just see if I can't get a let me throw in an extra one too. I'll move down. I didn't even look to see who's available. I'm not gonna
one pick to get a 4th next year. I mean, that's the move.
That'd be easy. What if I took a 3rd for this year? Well, a guy you can end up trading all the time. All right, so who's on our cover, Nick? You probably didn't see it. Who's on our cover?
Mm-mm. Oh my God, Blake Miller went 1 pick before. That sucks. Sorry,
but it's Caden McDonald, Ian Cunningham, and Davison Igbinosun is on our cover from Ohio State. I mean, we got to take him, right? He's our cover boy. He's right in the middle of the artwork for this show. We got to take him.
Real quick with Davison Igbinosun, he scares the absolute hell out of me.
You said slot for him, if I'm not mistaken.
He's like one of the most grabby corners I've ever seen in my life. He doesn't trust his technique. I think he's a little stiff, and I think in the NFL it's going to be an unbelievable amount of penalty yards. So he scares me for that front. But we're on the board now. You got some good options here. Honestly, guys that I liked more than Igbinosun. Jacob Rodriguez, I think. I mean, you don't need a linebacker, but
yeah, you do.
Draft good.
You need 2 linebackers. Nick. Caden's gone. I need 2 linebackers. So I got no problem going here if he's there. I don't necessarily want to go this early, but if I'm taking him, I'm probably plugging him in as a starter. That's a starter at 62, Nick.
Yep. I think Malachi Fields for your offense is a starter too.
That's a tough one too. He's absolutely a starter with what's available until free agency, pre-free agency. He is written in Sharpie as wide receiver 2.
I like Caleb Tiernan a good bit. I don't think he's actually gonna be a tackle in the league. I think he's probably more guard, but he's like guard tackle flexibility. And then Dominique Orange is going to be a good nose tackle in the league as well, an actual 2-down guy.
And so, Tim, no, that one was Tim says, did we not pass on Jalen Carter to draft Penix? I could be wrong. You are wrong. That was Bijan. So Bijan went 8, and then Jalen Carter went 9, which is another LOL moment that I got from someone else when we were talking about building the team through non-premium positions. I mentioned running back, taking a running back in the top 10. Bijan's the best thing Terry Fontenot did. LMAO, ha ha ha, you moron. Well, Jalen Carter's probably going to get paid more than Bijan Robinson. So there's a pretty good argument here that Jalen Carter, as good as Bijan is, someone might make the argument that Jalen Carter would have been the more valuable pick. I'm not making that argument. I think Bijan's phenomenal face of this team. And sometimes that is more important than the difference between Jalen Carter and Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is the Atlanta Falcons right now.
The other guy that we were kind of obsessed with in that class, Scott, was
Christian Gonzalez,
who's going to get also paid ridiculous money. I mean, he was unbelievable in the Super Bowl. But again, not that you had multiple right options there, and I don't think you were wrong in taking Bijan. But it's
the question for me here is it's got to be wide receiver or linebacker. And being that we don't know what we've done in free agency, I got to go wide receiver here. If it's Malachi Fields, I got to go wide receiver.
Let's go that way. Then you get an X.
He's a starter coming in. Grayson Halton did have a decent combine.
He's a weird body type.
Down here, a couple spots there. He's at 82.
Yep. Kalen Rutledge is good, but I wouldn't take a pure guard here right now. That's why Tiernan's a little bit more interesting to me because he could play right tackle. But I think I'm going to
go with the wide receiver.
Yeah, let's go that way. Jacob Rodriguez is a viable option, though.
Malachi, yeah, he is. These are good problems to have, I think. These starter. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go.
What do we go with our last pick, Scott?
We went. Already forgotten. Corner.
That's right, Igbenogson. I'm not as much of a fan. Let's go.
Mike brings up a little good piece of information. He says Piedmont has an exclusive contract with the team, so that makes sense on the medical stuff. And my mom's a Piedmont vet for 30 years. She worked at Piedmont Hospital for the entire time that we were in Georgia. Good things to say about Piedmont Hospital. So a little surprised it's not Grady though. That one. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate you weighing in. 94 to 100, and I swap and I get to pick at 163. Yeah, we'll take that. That's the thing. I could trade all day.
Yeah, this one offers a lot of trades.
Look at that one. I get. They're going to offer me 2 picks to move up 17 spots. God, I
would stay here and take. I know we already took a wide receiver, but we haven't talked about him at all, Scott. I think he's the most explosive player in the entire class. Brendan Thompson. You really get cost control, and he's like the opposite of Malachi Fields, but he is so explosive, and you need 3 or 4 wide receivers. So I really like Brendan Thompson.
We'll call him the scurvy crew. Halsey says, what if the Falcons get lemon and orange?
That'd be great.
You do not have to worry about scurvy in the ATL, that's for sure.
Is there any line?
These are good choices. We did take a wide receiver, so be it.
I really like Brendan Thompson just as far as
like Grayson Halton.
Yeah.
At this spot.
Also, Isaiah World. We talk about a team that is a year off. Romello Height makes a lot of sense too. Pure edge rusher down here. I really like Brendan Thompson.
Offensive tackle here. There's good choices here. Trade down. Multiple picks. Day 2 and day 3 picks are valuable, Terry. They are. I promise you.
Round 2 through round 4 is a lot of where the team building goes. My favorite guy here is Brendan Thompson. That said, Isaiah World actually is one of the few like walking the earth.
Let's go offensive tackle here
to play that way. So he's interesting to me, no doubt. He needs a redshirt year because he tore an ACL late. So again, he's somebody he's very much a developmental player. We'll see you in 2027, and hopefully you are a starter at that point. I do worry because he's really talented, but his technique was a slop fest, despite how good the Oregon offensive coaches are. Offensive line coaches, some of the best in the college football. But again, what are you talking there? 4th round, end of the 3rd round. That's a worthwhile bet for somebody who actually, one of the rare people who actually has the body type and athleticism to hang at tackle.
I would have taken Mike Washington if he was there at 114.
Yeah.
Running back. Island Mike asks, fellas, what's more important for us, offense or defense for our first pick? I mean, the cop-out answer on this is it depends on who's there. But for me, the number one need on this team is wide receiver. I think that's the number one. Other than quarterback, let's take quarterback off the board because we've spent 30 minutes talking quarterback, and I spent all day on Monday talking quarterback. Let's take quarterback off the board. The place that is the hardest to get, where I can make the most impact on this team, where the Falcons were absolutely threadbare after Drake London, and you're going practice squad guys, literally, was wide receiver. You're going to cut Darnell Mooney, who was a bust last year. Now there's a bust. Darnell Mooney was a bust last season. David Sills ended up taking more snaps than Darnell Mooney like the last 4 games of the season. David Sills is a free agent and we'll get another practice squad deal somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's got to be wide receiver for me, number one, if they are there. But the worst thing you can do is reach. That's the worst thing you can do is reach. So the fastest way to improve this team for me is wide receiver, is a quality wide receiver.
I'm going to cheat.
Also, just protect the quarterback is always need number one.
Yeah.
Depending on what you think about Caleb McGarry, otherwise you're returning all 5 starters on the offensive line.
I'm so annoying and boring, Scott, but like the best way to turn this around big picture is to get a quality starter at a premium position, because then you have more flexibility with your contract. Wide receiver counts, but if it's a cornerback, if it's a pass rusher, I won't. What do you say?
That's why we went quarterback in the first with our first pick. Exactly. Don't reach. That's the worst thing you can do. Oh man, our biggest need is wide receiver. Well, we have to get a wide receiver. No, you don't. No, you don't. Trade down and take 2 in the 7th, and maybe one of them turns into something. Reaching is the worst thing you can do. The old saying I heard from college when I first started scouting in the a long time ago. It's not the players you miss that kill you. It's the players you get that can't play that kill you. And I think back to that. I'm like, there's no such thing as a must-have recruit. Let's go back to recruiting. And I'll prove it to you. Herschel Walker is arguably the best college football player of all time. It was between Georgia and Clemson. Georgia won a national title with Herschel Walker. Clemson won one the next year without Herschel Walker. So it's just make sure you don't reach that. Get guys that can play. But wide receiver for me is the number one on here. We've got some people talking. We've got another corner in here at the top of the board. Safety, tight end. I'm not as concerned with tight end. I need a running back.
Yeah, Singleton, I feel like his best ability is like the outside of it's the extra stuff, like the pass protection and the pass catching, which Bijan is already so valuable at. So I don't know. I feel like you need a little bit more of a innings eater body type there.
Baby Driver says our first pick should be wide receiver, center, or an offensive tackle. Speaking of center, I meant to hit on this news.
Yeah,
Drew
we didn't talk about
Dahlman
retiring
out of the blue with the Chicago Bears after playing 1 year on his big free agent contract that the Falcons did not get a comp pick for. At least doesn't look like they will, and they should have.
We would already know, I think.
Yeah, retiring. That came out of the blue. My first thought was, man, that's another problem the Falcons didn't need. Yeah. So who is this Dante Corleone that people are talking about? Defensive tackle. That fits.
He's really weird because he's like 5'10", but built weird. He's older as well, but he's had a pretty good career. He's definitely interesting to me. I really like. Can you scroll down a little bit? There is a name for me that does stand out here. We haven't gone wide receiver again. You really liked, somebody in the chat said Bryce Lance has a chance to be the best wide receiver in the class, and you need multiple of them. So he's interesting as well. Scroll down, keep scrolling, because now we're getting to the point where it's like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. By Farmer's interesting. Takario Davis, 6'4" cornerback.
We did take an offensive tackle, didn't we? Yeah, we took
Isaiah World.
Yeah, we took Isaiah World, so we did get at least one already.
So for me, I think
for an offensive tackle, we got one. You can clamor for more, though. You're not going to hurt me by, hey, we got bookend offensive tackles in this draft. Okay, good, great.
Deion Burks also stands out. To me, the wide receivers are the most valuable spots. The other one who is interesting to me, because we haven't gone the position yet, is York from Texas A&M. He's not the best athlete in the world, but he just plays ball, man. He's in the right spot a lot. I like him a good bit. Oscar Delp also interesting if you wanted a little bit more Y/H-back ability. He would offer some explosiveness that you're not getting from, name's escaping me right now, who might be a cap casualty, your other tight end. But I like Lance a good bit here, unless you want to go with a different skill set and get Deion Burks, who tested really well.
Lance, wide receiver. I don't mind doubling up on wide receiver or Logan Jones. I just don't think center's a need. I mean, opposed from, hey, you always need more offensive linemen. Other than that, I don't think Ryan Newsel played well. The Falcons have a center. Now, can you get more? Yes, you can always use more. I just don't think it's a big need for this team.
Can Newsel play guard? Does he have the ability to play guard? Honestly, couldn't tell you. I can't think of him playing guard off the top.
Yeah, I don't really picture him playing guard. I think he's straight center. I don't think he's got the mass and push.
Because Logan Jones is for sure an only center. Okay. He's small, but he's an incredible athlete.
But, hey, what it keeps you from doing is you stack them, and if Newsel has another good season, then I don't mind going this way. But you said Bryce Lance. Let's go Bryce Lance.
Or
we got
Deion
a
Burke.
bunch of picks. My next picks is until 113. And yes, we can use more corners. That's the thing. I wrote about it yesterday when I wrote up Jordan Reed's mock. I wrote up, hey, no matter what happens in free agency, it really shouldn't change the Falcons draft strategy that much, because where they have needs, they have multiple needs. They need 2 corners. They need 2 big defensive linemen. They need 2 edge rushers now. They need 2 wide receivers. I'm forgetting somebody. They need 2 linebackers. So you can get one of those guys all the way in free agency and then get them again in the draft.
Yeah. No doubt. Is that the top of the board? Can you scroll up? Is that okay? Good.
Yep, that's the top. Zane Durant.
Zane Durant, big athlete, had a really good combine. I mean, those Penn State guys.
We haven't gotten our defensive tackle, have we?
No, we haven't gone one.
Zane had a great combine, actually.
He did. Yep. And so did Sam Roush. Again, he lacks length, but he had one of the best combines ever for a tight end, for an athlete. And I think Marlon Klein actually has the
numbers right here. They're sorted. I think I sorted them by vertical jump just to see how bad Lee Hunter's combine was.
Yeah, he dropped.
That by vertical jump, he wasn't just the worst. He was the worst by 3 inches. I might be able to get a 21-inch vertical leap at 53. Probably not, though. I haven't jumped anything in forever. But Zane, we called him out the other day. He was 6'1", 290, so compact, can plug a gap. 4.75 with a 1.66, 33.5. He had a really good. Yeah, we're going that direction, y'all. So who's the pick, Xavier? Xavier says the pick is Zane Durant. We're going Zane Durant.
You want to be 5 deep on the interior and 5 deep at edge.
And Baby Driver says, I think a sleeper is trading Kyle Pitts or Bates for picks. Yeah, that's something we've talked about for months, really. Bates is your best trade piece salary cap saving move, because you're on the right side of his contract. You can, if you were to move on from him, you could save up to like $15 million and get some picks. And Kyle Pitts, yes, you are going to discuss a long-term contract, but now you at least have a 1-year window to trade him. So it is possible on that. So because we picked up other picks, we can take a swing on Taylon Green right now and use him as our wildcat quarterback if we wanted to.
I mean, he's
Sawyer
interesting.
Robinson, I'm out on Sawyer Robinson. But because we've traded down so much, I don't mind going with an uber athlete right here.
Yeah, me too. God, there's still good wide receivers, Scott. I think maybe go Taylon Green just because we talked about him a bit. I would have maybe banged the table for one of those tight ends that was left, but they went boom, boom right before you just to add good players with where teams are playing and trying to play 12. But somebody, when I was scrolling down, Scott, was again, just for future, if we use the PFN one, Eric McAllister is really interesting to me. And then CJ Daniels. I mean, if you didn't take Malachi Fields, CJ Daniels down here is a steal. I'm like, what the? There's no way he should. And there's Drew Aller as well, if you'd rather go that way. Right now, I'd think Drew Aller goes before Taylon Green, personally.
Do you want a steadier guy, or do you want an uber athlete who you're going to have to run packages for? A more athletic Felipe Franks.
I'm probably more interested in Drew Aller, personally, but I could be convinced either way.
I think the Falcons
wide receivers
probably use Drew Aller more. Could use the steady quarterback with experience, but let's put Taylon Green on special teams. I'm drafting him in the dreaded athlete position, which I argued vehemently against for recruiting rankings for 10 years. And
this one's easy. We don't have to spend too much time. Kyle Lewis, ridiculous at this point. He might be more safety than true linebacker, like a big slot, but like big athlete, 6th round. We haven't gone with a linebacker.
We didn't get our linebacker yet.
No, and he could be a safety too. So, I mean,
there's your Divine Diablo type. I need guys who can play in space.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of those ones. Like, I don't really trust the board there personally.
I think we're done.
Okay, good. Because we were starting to see some of those names there, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure about some of these ones.
Who the hell's that guy? So we traded down, picked up some spots: corner, wide receiver, tackle, wide receiver, defensive tackle, development, quarterback, athlete, and then linebacker. is where we ended up on that one. So interesting. I say all the time, Nick, I wish, let me remove this. I wish it was that easy to trade down in real life. I don't know that. So we just fleeced the Broncos.
Dude, that one
ended up getting two really nice picks out of that one. So
one thing, Scott, we haven't done on here, we talked about it. I got to get going. I know we all do, but like, you traded down a lot. You want the picks. What was my question? What's the question? Do you have your franchise quarterback?
Do you have your franchise quarterback?
What's your
do you have an avenue to get one?
If you're trading back, you probably want to be freaking trying to add 2027 capital.
Yeah.
Because you need to have avenues to fill out a roster if you make an aggressive move,
right?
Or chips to put on the table to make that aggressive move.
Yeah. And
so all those trade backs, Scott, I might go lesser somewhat this year if I can get 2027 capital to give myself a chance.
The other part of that's free agency.
Yeah.
You know, if the Falcons aren't in on free agency next week, they're playing the comp pick game for 2027.
Yep.
If depending on what happens with David Onyemata, with Tyler Algier, with Caden Ellis, I don't think Leonard Floyd would qualify. Arnold Ebiketie, I don't think would qualify. They took Kyle Pitts off the board, but there's three guys I think that could be eligible for comp picks if the Falcons aren't active in free agency to start the cycle. That's going to tell us a lot about what they think about this, you know, about this. And I don't think they can. I think they'll want to spend their money. I think they'll try and get guys on multi-year deals and, you know, get them ready to go for 2027. So, but there's two avenues to do this. I could trade down and keep 5 picks, but add a 2027 pick.
If you can get a premium spot, like another third round, just to give yourself chips to make that move.
Let's say I'm drafting at 12. Here's my 12 and a third and a 2028 first to move up into the top 3 because it's expensive. It's expensive to move up for quarterbacks. We know this.
But at least then you have another cost-controlled asset there as well. So again, if you're trading down, I think, you know, we want more picks. We've heard Ian Cunningham talk about that, but like you probably want to like get those 2027 chips if at all possible. All
right, the chips I'm going to say goodbye to everybody right now. So want to say thank you to our Super Chat superstars, Mike and Denver Luke coming in. Thank you. Appreciate you helping to support the show. Make sure you're hitting the like button on the way out and you're subscribed. If you're not, keep those alerts on because if something happens, if something happens this weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is big news time. Some of the biggest news time in the NFL. We'll go live. We will absolutely go live. So that's all I got for you. I want to say thanks to my members who are in here as well. Hit the comments on the way out and know if I'm advocating for a quarterback, it doesn't mean I think it's a good option. Taylon Green, Arkansas fans, I know you don't like him. I know. We drafted him to play some special teams and be an athlete and maybe. Felipe Franks plus. I know all these things. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a hell of a rest of your day. Enjoy some spring weather coming for the next few days. It's supposed to be in the 80s here. Enjoy it. I'm going to go watch some baseball tonight. Milton at Johns Creek. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. Peace.